Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome to your November Tarot forecast. I feel like maybe this month you will surprise yourself, or maybe you will surprise other people with what you say, what you do. That doesn't surprise me because an Aries tends to be sort of just spoken out or outspoken. You just kind of like say what you want, do what you want, and that's beautiful. That's what's actually really nice about you because you don't think so much about everything. You just kind of do it and you go for it. And that's a beautiful thing because a lot of other people, they get stuck in their heads and they think about what other people are thinking about them. And it's like, it just stops them from actually moving forward. And you don't have that problem as much as other people do. So I feel like maybe other people forgot that. Maybe other people forgot that you will say something, that you will kind of just like randomly leave or whatever it is. And I feel like maybe you have a last minute trip that you take or that you're planning. Maybe you have a surprise shift in your business, your career. Maybe it's in a relationship, but it feels like it could be something that some of you have been thinking about for a while and you haven't done it. And now you feel like, why not? I'm just going to go for it. And maybe it's like launching something. Maybe it's you just taking a chance on yourself in a new way. And I really like that for you because it's going to help you sort of like experience this rebirth, if that makes sense. You have the Death card here as your second card. And it really is an energy of this is really an energy connected to transformation. This is connected to Scorpio, and right now we are in Scorpio season. We also just had a full moon in Taurus, and you have both of those Taurus cards here, okay? You've got the King and the Queen of Pentacles, both reversed. So I feel like there's a lot that you are changing. Maybe some of you are already feeling that change internally, or maybe it's been growing over the past little while, and now it feels like it's time for you to say it or do it. Whatever you've been thinking about, maybe you've been wanting to move, and now you're like actually taking action to find another apartment or figure out your documentation for another country, or if it's a trip, you're now booking the flights, for example, or whatever. Maybe for some of you, you're thinking about how you've been spending your money. This past full moon in Taurus was showing us that like some of our investments are not great. They're just not. Some of them are good and some things are working out, and you're going to really begin to notice through November what's working for you. This full moon in Taurus was really important for us to figure out our values. So what do you value now that before you didn't really care about? Or you're kind of like, meh, whatever. And now you're like, no, these things are actually important to me and I need to communicate that. Now, I feel like it's not only about communication. It also looks like you will be taking action. So if you say something, it's going to happen. So maybe also watch what you're saying, okay? Because, you know, it might just manifest and quickly. Now, that's a little bit of an interesting dynamic because we are actually starting a Mercury retrograde, I believe today. This Mercury retrograde is in the sign of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is your sister sign, okay? So this is kind of a big deal for you also because you're going to be feeling that influence of you needing to, you know, slow down, recalibrate, review things, figure out what you want to do next. And that's kind of normal for all of us because we're all experiencing Mercury retrograde. But when it's happening in a fire sign and you are a fire sign, you're really going to feel maybe a little bit of your motivation or your energy dip, but I think it's going to kind of bounce back really quickly. I don't know why. I need to look at Mars. That's your ruling planet. If I dove into that and looked at it, I could maybe understand why I'm feeling that way. But a lot of other people will be, you know, slowing down, reviewing. And I feel like for you, the shift and the pivot, it happens when you are actually taking action. most of the time you would tell someone, during a Mercury retrograde, you're going to want to slow down. You're going to want to really think about things, like, double check. But for you, I feel like you've already been preparing something, or you've already been feeling you need to make the change, or you want to do something different. And honestly, I wouldn't stop you. I would say go for it. I feel like, yes, there are still some details that, need to be figured out. Maybe you haven't met all the people you need to meet for this project or this connection to be super successful. I feel like there is like a natural flow, but because your natural pace is go, I feel like if you are going and you're like, you don't need to rush anything, but I don't think that you need to pause. I don't think that you need to stop and wait and really just be like, oh, I'm just going to sit here for 6 weeks while Mercury's retrograde. Like, don't do that. I feel like this is a really important time for you to really be cleaning things up. I feel like there's maybe some connections that you're either walking away from, or you've been thinking about, getting out of the contract, or figuring out how to disengage from this connection in some way. So think about it and go for it if you can. Maybe it's time for you to sit down and have that, challenging conversation. I think there's a lot of opportunities that will show up from you deciding to prioritize yourself and go after whatever it is that you want. It's like everything else is just going to kind of fall into motion. And I think that you'll find that, wow, it was actually really kind of easy to jump. And maybe up until now, there's been a little bit of doubt, or a little bit of like, I just don't know like what the right timing is. And now it feels like just go for it, like jump and enjoy the experience, enjoy the journey, You might find that people from the past are coming back around, or that you're getting stuck in some old loops, or that it's just like, wow, you feel really free and liberated from things that normally would keep you feeling drained, or keep you feeling small, or keep you feeling sad, or whatever. So maybe there was an experience in the past, a person, a trauma, whatever, something that, it happened a while ago, and maybe you thought that you were healed from it. And now you're noticing that something inside you is shifting and moving again, and it's like you're entering a new level of that healing. I don't think that you will be like spiraling down into the like darkness of like, and it's like this crazy, trauma that just comes up again. And it's like, and maybe you've already experienced that. Like maybe when you had, quote unquote, this experience or this breakup or whatever it was, years ago, maybe it was recently, but this feels like it's been something that you've been carrying for a while. Maybe, it happened and it was challenging. And then you, quote unquote, healed and everything was kind of fine. You were okay. And until now, you thought like you were good. But I feel like maybe you will sort of like dip back into that feeling, and then it will pass quick. But when you dive in, it's going to be like deep and quick, and then you're going to kind of bounce back out and you're going to be like, whoa. And I think it's because there was still some like residual energy that needed to be cleaned up and cleared out. This Mercury retrograde is really helping us clean up our energy before 2026. This Mercury retrograde and Jupiter is retrograde at the same time. Jupiter will be retrograding until March next year. So we are literally now starting to clean up and get ready for next year. This Mercury retrograde is also helping us clean up and get ready for next year. There's a lot to talk about. I just had a live conversation about Mercury retrograde and how to work with it for this next few weeks to prepare yourself for next year. So if you are interested, go and watch the Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde workshop. They are both in the same workshop. It's one workshop, but we talk about both themes because these are really important when we're thinking about our safety, our money, our comfort, our values. And we just had this really potent full moon in Taurus, I'm sure a lot of you already watched that workshop. Like, whew, wow, this energy is really helping. It's helping us establish a new foundation for next year, but we can't really establish a new foundation on top of the old one. We need to actually clear the old foundation and the cracks. We need to identify them and then begin to fix them. And then moving forward, we can actually set up a new foundation. But right now, it's more about reviewing, understanding what's not working, understanding how you have shifted, how your values have shifted, how you want to move through life has shifted. And that's really an amazing thing, because this year in numerology is the number 9, which is all about wrapping things up, a deep understanding of what you are ready to let go of and who you are, no longer wanting to be. It's like the new you is showing up, but it needs more space. So if you want help creating that space, go and watch the full moon workshop. If you want help cleaning up your energy before the new year, watch the Mercury Retrograde workshop. I promise it'll help. I love you. Just saw 11:11 on the timer. I love that for you. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful. If it's resonating, go watch a workshop, okay? The link is in my bio. I love you. I'll see you there. Send this to a friend also. Share it on your Instagram story. Let other people know where they can find theirs, okay? Ciao.